Thank you very much, Dr. Marshall. My knees have been playing me up something awful. I reckon it's a sudden change in the weather myself.
Well, yes, it could be. Anyhow, some of that should put it right, Mrs. Gilbert.
Oh, so do I take it 3 times a day with milk or what?
Oh, certainly not. You rub it on. It's an ointment.
Oh, silly me. I bet that could be a lovely finish if I took it internally, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. In more ways than one.
Now, that's me seeing to, Doctor. I want your opinion on a friend of mine, Mrs. Turnbull, next door to me. Only Mabel and me, we've been good friends for donkey's years. I mean, she's getting on a bit. Well, so am I. But I think time is telling on her more than it is on me. Except for my knees, that is. But you know all about that.
I'm afraid I can't discuss another patient, Mrs. Gilbert.
Oh, and I wouldn't expect you to, Doctor. No, it's advice I'm asking.
OK. Well, ask away.
Well, see, she's been getting these funny phone calls. I was present when she had the first one, but the second one, she reckons, was in the early hours of the morning. The phone was ringing again when we both got back to hers after shopping yesterday, but it was the window cleaner wondering if he could come and do hers today.
Well, then it's really the police you should be talking to, Mrs. Gilbert. Oh. Or rather, Mrs. Turnbull should be, not me. I can only assume there's someone being perhaps abusive or something.
Well, the thing is, well, she thinks this man is a grandson on the other end.
Doesn't she know for sure?
Dr. Marshall, her grandson got killed in a nasty motorbike smash 3 years ago.
Oh.
You must remember that.
Oh, wait a minute, yes. The Patterson lad.
That was him. Young John Patterson. Oh, he was a lovely lad. Gentle, kind, and so good to Mabel too.
They were very close, I imagine.
Oh, very.
Often, when 2 people are as close as they evidently were, and one dies as tragically as he did, a delayed reaction to that tragedy can occur.
Oh, well, yes.
It's quite possible that Mrs. Turnbull, without realising it, has suddenly started to grieve, even after all this time.
Crikey, it's nearly 10:30. I shall have to think about going to bed. Oh, that's enough television for one night, I reckon. Oh. Now I'll get myself a mug of cocoa and take it to bed with me. Oh my God, not again. I shan't answer it, I shan't. Oh dear. Oh, I wish Gwen was with me. Perhaps she'd answer it for me. Calm down, Mabel. You're getting paranoid, girl. You mustn't let this man, whoever he is, get to you like it. Oh well, it might not stop if I don't. I'll ask him who he really is, and if he won't tell me, then I'll call the police this time. Hello?
I thought you weren't going to answer.
I very nearly didn't. Now look here, young man. I don't know who on earth you are, but I'm not finding this very funny.
You know who I am.
You sound very much like my grandson John. But seeing as he's no longer alive, you can't be, can you?
I can't say too much. They don't know I'm doing this.
Who's they, for pity's sake?
You see, I'm preparing you myself. I found out exactly where I'm going to be seeing you. 9 o'clock on Sunday evening. Wear that lovely brown dress you always put on for Sunday tea. The one with the gold inset pattern.
Brown dress? How did you know I got a brown dress like that?
Well, you always used to wear it for Sunday tea. Please, it was my favourite.
John?
Yes, Gran.
Is it really you? Where are you? Tell me. Where are you? Hello? Hello? He's hung up again. I think I'm going mad. Sit down in the park, I'll do you the world of good, mate. You're looking very run down at the moment. There's nothing wrong with me. You might think so, but it's surprising. Dr. Marshall says you started grieving for John after all this time.
Dr. Marshall? Have you been talking about me to Dr. Marshall?
Well, I just mentioned in passing.
How dare you? How many other people have you been talking to about me?
Nobody. Only the doctor. She was very sympathetic. Said I was to keep an eye on you.
Oh, did she? I can look after myself, Gwen Gilbert. I don't need you or her to go keeping eyes on me. There's nothing wrong with me. Now just leave me alone.
There, that's your lot. I ain't got no more breadcrumbs, duckies. Sorry. Here, I reckon you could do with a holiday away somewhere, Mabel. I know I could.
And what do you suggest I use for money? Cardigan buttons?
You got a bit put away in the building society. You told me that yourself. After all, you can't take it with you when your time comes.
True.
Torquay's very nice this time of year. They call it the British Riviera, you know.
Whatever that means.
Have you, had any more, phone calls lately?
What if I have?
Oh, I can't think what's got into you, Mabel Turnbull. You're a completely changed person to what you was. It just takes one man with a warped sense of humour to phone you up a few times and you think your grandson's calling you from beyond the grave.
If you must know, he phoned me last night just as I was off to bed.
You are joking.
How do you account for the fact that he knows I got a brown dress with a gold inset pattern on it then?
Oh my God, it's worse than I could ever have imagined. It's somebody who knows you, it's obvious.
Why should it be?
He's going to try and murder you. I've heard about these things in the past. I saw a film like that once. Oh, I've enjoyed this afternoon's visit to the park.
I'll pop the kettle on.
Oh, nothing for me, mate. I'd best get round home. Got some washing I must put in the machine.
That's up to you. I could murder a couple myself.
What am I saying? Well, I thought it might not be a bad idea to see you safely back here first, just to make sure you haven't got anyone a bit suspicious hanging around laying in wait for you.
Well, thanks a bunch, Gwen. You're making me feel very worried.
Best to be cautious, I say. Does he still say he's going to see you?
9 o'clock on Sunday, so he reckons.
Oh, you've got to go to the police and tell them.
I don't think there's any need for that. I know who he is.
And who exactly?
I'm saying no more, Gwen.
Mabel Turnbull, you are doing yourself no favours by thinking you're going to see your John on Sunday evening. It's more likely to be someone who's crazed and who's seen you about. He could be watching the pair of us right now.